welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys Taskmaster figure based upon the appearance in the Black Widow solo film. Now, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. A lot of people didn't like what the MCU did with Taskmaster. I myself wasn't a huge fan of it, mainly because the origin story was changed so drastically. I don't have a problem with them changing the gender, but when they change the origin story to one that's less interesting, I kind of have an issue with that. In the comics, Taskmaster went head to head with Cap, Iron Man, and a whole host of others. He basically has what are called photographic reflexes, so he can just look at somebody, the way that they move, and immediately be able to mimic that. So we did see that skill set in the MCU, but not to the extent that we see it in the comics. Also, the appearance in the video game, the Spider-Man PS4 video game. So if you hear me refer to Taskmaster as a he, that's pretty much why. Because I'm considering this to be the representation from the comics or the video game, more so than the movie. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Turn on notifications so that you're aware when new videos drop. Hit the like button if you like the content, all those good things. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So starting out, they really went all out with this box. First, there's a slip cover with the Black Widow logo on it. There's some transparent film so you can see Taskmaster coming through the Black Widow logo. Then when you pull the slip cover off, you have an image of Taskmaster on the front as well as the back of the box. And they aren't done there. You can also flip open the front of the box to reveal the figure himself with all of his accessories. You also get the Black Widow logo on the bottom of the box and Taskmaster again on the top of the box. So again, they really went all out with the details on this box. I'm kind of surprised actually you don't really see this too often. A lot of the boxes are pretty straightforward and to the point, but if you're one of those people who likes displaying your boxes, you're in for a treat. Taking a look at the base, we get the Taskmaster logo and then Marvel Studios Black Widow, and there's some design work. You see some embers kind of flaring up in the background. The base includes a crotch grabber instead of a dynamic flight stand. I kind of wish it did come with a flight stand. Even though Taskmaster can't fly, they do spend a lot of time jumping and kicking and spinning through the air. As far as hands, it comes default with the two fisted hands. You also get two gripping hands, one hand for the bow so you can draw the string back, and two clawed hands, reminiscent of Black Panther. For accessories, Taskmaster includes a shield which is magnetic and attaches to the gauntlet on either side, a sword, daggers that attach to the gauntlets, a bow, and 3 different arrows. One thing to note is that for the body, they used a male body as opposed to a female body. And I'm glad they did that because, like I said, I want to use this as the interpretation of the comic book character or the video game character, more so than the MCU. But even in the MCU, the stunt person that played Taskmaster was a male, so makes perfect sense. Taskmaster's undersuit is made of kind of like a nylon material. It does flex really easy, so you're not going to have any issues posing this figure, and that's one thing that I really love about it. There is some detail also on the undersuit, kind of mimicking different straps, so it gives the appearance that some of the armor plates are actually held on with straps when really, in fact, they're held on with Velcro. But it does a good job of selling that illusion. You get free-floating gauntlets as well as bicep armor. The elbow pads appear to be glued on. I didn't want to tug on them too hard, but they weren't coming off for me, so I'm assuming that they can't be removed. The pouches and the armor on the shoulder and knees, like I mentioned, are Velcroed on. So you can adjust those as needed. The pouches also have a little strap that connect them to the belt, which is also free-floating. The hood is wired, so you can put it on or take it off and kind of manipulate it how you want. So that's a really nice touch. The backpack is non-removable. It also doesn't have any openings or anything like we saw in the film. Taskmaster would go ahead and kind of reach in the backpack to pull out different gadgets and such. So it is mounted on. You can't remove this backpack. And the cloth piece that kind of wraps around Taskmaster's neck is actually molded plastic that connects to the backpack, so there is no articulation or anything like that. It is a hard piece. The chest armor is also mounted in place. It's not velcroed on, so you're not going to be able to manipulate that much. The boots are split cut, so you get excellent range out of the ankles. Looking further into articulation, Taskmaster can look up a good bit, down. The elbows are double jointed, but the armor and the gauntlets tend to collide a little bit. Both are free floating, so you have a little bit of room to manipulate it, but not a ton. The body also features bicep swivel, butterfly joints. You get a crazy amount of waist swivel. Ab crunch allows Taskmaster to lean back and forward a little bit, but it is limited due to the chest armor. The swivel at the waist really does help here though, so you're kind of able to overcome the lack of forward movement. The knees are double jointed, and as you can see, they have a crazy amount of range. You also have thigh swivel. Taskmaster's helmet also has a lot of detail in it. You can see the skull mask and also the orange tinted visor, but there's also a lot of detail on the top in the back of the helmet. Here's a few height comparisons so you can see how Taskmaster scales with other figures. So overall, you're going to find that this figure has a lot of mobility, a lot of flexibility in terms of articulation. You're going to be able to get a lot of nice shots because the only real limitation, like I mentioned, is kind of the bend at the elbow where those armor pieces collide, and also the forward ab crunch. But aside from that, this is probably one of the best articulated figures that I've seen. So to wrap this up, like I said, I think this is going to be the big sleeper of 2022. I think a lot of people are going to pass on it just because of the Black Widow movie and kind of their interpretation of this character. But I think if you can look past that and take a close-up look at the detail, you're really going to find that this may be a figure that you want in your collection. So thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for your support. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications. More videos are on the way, so I'll see you guys next time.